Uh, hey, how's it going, guys? I am Seth Day, also from most social media platforms known as TheMightySeth, and I also have a close friend of mine who goes by the name of TheKILAGames. We're doing what's called the KILA Bros podcast, where we're about to be introducing different topics that's going on in the gaming industry, gaming news, and also introducing to my comic book universe known as the Omega Comics, which I'm the creator and founder of the industry itself, which will be later published later throughout this year, which I can't wait to proceed. Um, welcome to the podcast, Eli, and mind introducing yourself as well?
Thanks for having me. You can call me Killa. You can call me Jizzy. Um, I've been friends with this dude here for a long, long time. Um, he's an incredible writer, incredible artist, and I'm just glad to be here.
Yep, same here. Likewise. So, uh, first of all, let's start by bringing out what I call the killer topic. So, what's the first thing that's coming to your mind, like to bring to the table that we have to get out our chest right now? Like, what's something that we need? What needs to be said by now?
If you don't mind, I'd like to rant a little bit about microtransactions in games.
Oh my God! Yes, let's talk about the microtransactions that is going on in the gaming world. Yeah, like please.
Yeah, and the industry as a whole. So, more specifically, um, let's talk about Overwatch real quick.
Oh, what's not to
Okay.
talk about Overwatch? You see, like Overwatch has been a one of those living gems that we have in our gaming history. Like everybody used to freaking love Overwatch, and there are still thousands of people who still love Overwatch now. But there has to be something that led to their downfall of what happened to Overwatch. So you might explain how you feel about it, especially when it comes to microtransactions.
Well, besides the loot boxes, which, to be fair, I thought was not the worst thing in the world. At least they didn't have a battle pass per se, which they do now. Let's talk about battle pass real
Right.
quick, because I remember when Overwatch One first came out. You and me were there. We even played the beta, and we absolutely loved the game, as did almost pretty much everybody.
Right.
So loot boxes, I thought that was okay because you can earn them for free. You have the option to buy them. That's all good and well, purely cosmetics.
See,
But
yeah.
once they go ahead,
No, no, I pretty much agree because which through the criticism for their gambling like mechanics is basically transitioning to a battle pass system in Overwatch 2. It didn't really help much of their case as often players feel forced to grind to unlock cosmetics and or play premium passes. Especially we had to deal with what you call it, paywalls for content, like the core features such as skins, heroes, and other gameplay content being locked behind a paywall, like alienate players who expect their fair experience, especially in games they already purchased. Like Overwatch was essentially a paid game.
I'm really glad you brought up that they paywalled certain characters. For example, if you were to make a new account right now, you would only have a handful of characters. The majority of them, you have to either grind out challenges or just buy them outright. And I
Exactly.
mean,
And especially when we have new heroes. And do you know who's the new hero they just recently released? He's supposed to be some kind of cyberpunk like cyborg dude who's actually the new tank hero.
really, no, I haven't played it in a couple months. Honestly, I haven't played it since the release of Rivals.
Honestly, like yes, ever since Marvel Rivals came out, people has transitioned from Overwatch to Marvel's Rivals, and essentially it has been destroying the Overwatch community by a sheer number of players in like the player count as well. Because if you go to the Steam count, right, it has over like probably surpassed over like thousands or probably millions because they even reported saying millions of players have overwhelmed the servers and play constantly of Marvel's Rivals than they do Overwatch. Like Overwatch still has some good amount of player base, but the real question is how long they're gonna survive.
Also, while we're on the topic of Overwatch, can I just say what an absolute scam it was when they released Overwatch 2? You know, there was nothing changed about the game except for the fact that they made it 5v5. Characters are the same, maps are pretty much the same. You know, they've made no changes, no innovations, no improvements. And then the PvE, which I don't know if we should get started on talking about the PvE for Overwatch 2.
Oh my
But
god.
before we get to that, before we get to the PvE, we were talking about the player count. Let me give you some numbers for reference.
Okay.
So Overwatch 2 on Steam, its highest peak players was 17 months ago, 75,000 players.
75.
Currently right now it has 19,000 players on Overwatch 2.
Wow.
Marvel Rivals, for contrast, their peak players was just 2 weeks ago at 644,000 players.
Jesus Christ.
And guess what? Right now, there are about 370,000 players playing right now.
See, this is exactly what I mean of what not to do when it comes to your games and your fan base. And what you just provided is proof how you drive away all your fans away from such a iconic like hero shooter game franchise, and then you're basically being outplayed all because of the poor decision making. And it's not just that. My thing is, you have Jeff, right, who is the original game director of the first Overwatch, right? He has been making promises, always giving feedbacks, all releasing a good balanced characters from heroes from the game. It's not even Overwatch 2. It's not even a sequel. It's more like a Overwatch 1.1. I can't even say a 5.
It's not even 1.5. It's barely any different.
It's barely any different.
They slightly changed the UI. Talking about PvE real quick, which is going to trigger me, right? So when they announced that they were going to release Overwatch 2, they released screenshots, and they also released some of their plans. Like, for example, giving each hero unique abilities that you can equip.
Right.
Whatever happened to that? You know what I'm saying? They didn't release any type of progression with your characters. They didn't release different abilities you can equip or different ultimates, which they teased and they showed screenshots of that, and then it never happened. And same with the PvE. They kept saying they were going to finally release like a type story mode or some co-op missions or something to that extent. And then at the end of the day, months and months later after release, they finally released some PvE missions. They released 3 missions that are 15 minutes each. And the best part is that you have to pay for those.
See,
on top of everything else.
It's funny. I'm glad you brought all those key points, because this is something that Jeff has promised us for a very long time before Overwatch 2 was teased from the first cinematic trailer, right? Basically, Jeff has been giving monthly or sometimes weekly updates about the future of Overwatch, right? Because being that when people saw love of the characters, the lore, the gameplay, and everything, he was going to evolve Overwatch, especially have some chemistry between the characters, right? But ever since that Jeff has been announced not to have any involvement of the development of the game itself, I was starting to question and become a little bit worried of what the direction of this game will lead to. And
that's a great point, if I may, real quick.
Yeah.
I think that's absolutely right. It's the direction that the game went. Mm-hmm. Because the progression, once Jeff left, I feel like they purely wanted to see how much money they could squeeze out of people, and it was no longer about how to make the game as good as possible.
Right.
I mean, you know, like we said, the fact that they had the balls to release Overwatch 2, and they just re-released the same game, but it was their excuse to change from a loot box system to the battle pass system.
Right. You know, it's funny you brought up about the loot boxes, right? Because they made a statement that they were trying to remove anything that involves loot boxes or custom or anything that
gambling mechanics.
Gambling mechanics. But in their case, they call it the surprise mechanics.
Yeah.
And it really grinds my gears because we've been over this, especially with EA Games, the most infamous gaming company who doesn't give a crap about gamers or any other fan bases. All they care about is money, and this is what we
You give me money.
Yes, exactly. Sorry, Angry Joe, but but this is what us gamers had the same problem, and we had to express ourselves basically. But right now, back to Overwatch 2, we finally get what we've been waiting for, and then they just crap in our faces with the same mechanics, the same thing, except they republished the character designs. They gave us new maps, and they only gave us 3 characters of the release of Overwatch 2. And when I thought about this, what the hell have they been doing this entire time for not giving us a huge number of rosters of characters to release from the start with, a new rosters of maps, a new game modes, even the story mode. And like you said earlier, we were forced to pay $15 for each of those story missions. And then,
by the way, the missions were not great. By the way,
they're not great.
They were they were pretty plain, nothing new. We've seen it's just the same as their other missions they've released before, or little events or things. They're super basic. There's no story to it whatsoever,
right?
And it's just what's the point?
Exactly, and and what makes this worse is that they did an update recently, and they decided to remove those missions temporarily. And I'm like, why you force us to pay money for those missions, and then you go temporarily remove them from the start, and then why not bringing them back?
Yeah, it makes no sense. And going back to speaking about the direction of the game, Overwatch. Everybody, when Overwatch 1 first released, literally everybody loved the game. I pretty much heard almost no hate or people or complaints about it.
Right.
And people loved the character design. People loved the characters, right? So they already had a winning formula. Why didn't they give us some backstory to the characters? Why didn't they develop the characters? Why didn't they develop the character stories? Why didn't they... I mean, a quick example, look at League of Legends. There's, over 100 characters, and they give them backstory. And they even went so far as to make a whole show where they expanded their universe. They expanded how the characters interact, where they come from, all this stuff. And Overwatch never even attempted that, So it was always such a shallow experience, and they never really gave us anything to sink our teeth into. That was definitely a huge mistake. But real quick, I want to say that I think the fall of Overwatch was when Activision bought Blizzard.
I have to agree. And ever since Activision bought Blizzard, not only Blizzard has just become a downfall of most of their the player base, but they start release they haven't been releasing any more of their new games to follow up the legacy of their own franchises. Like, for example, StarCraft 2. StarCraft 2 has been around for God knows how long, and they haven't even thought about reviving its own franchises of the game. They have been releasing yearly of expansions for World of Warcraft, which I don't really blame them, because I was a huge fat hell nerd of World of Warcraft. I played a long time ago, but I started to have a life and I gave up to that game. And also I used to be a huge fan of Diablo, even Diablo 3. But ever since part 4 was released, it wasn't as great of a storytelling and gameplay as the third one. And
it pretty much became a live service, where it's
live services. I'm glad you brought that up. Live service is something that we do not need in any gaming. Like, look at that. Like Rockstar Steady. Justice League Kill the Justice League is a live service game, and we all know how it's going to end up. And once the game releases, guess what? It was a huge laughingstock, like a huge failure. You know, and then they decide to be, you know what pissed off the fans even more? Let's create like a stupid ending that the Justice League that we killed are all clones, and we're not going to explain it. We're just going to give you a silly ending. Sometimes I wanted to find who's the writer of it and slap in the face, like, for making a stupid ending.
Batman, Max, Robin.
And what pissed even more off, they decided to give the voice actors who plays Harley Quinn from the game to give a so-called hilarious narration to the ending of the story after people whoever was grinding to kill all 15 or 18, I don't even remember, I didn't even bother finishing the game, of Brainiacs, that their only true ending is Harley Quinn started making fun of the dialogue of narration, saying that, oh, the Justice League has come back, you have to stop Brainiac because they're all clothes. I just lost brain cells for even trying to imitate Harley Quinn. I'm sorry. But
honestly, I don't even have words for that game. I mean, the player count and the Steam charts speaks for itself. Like, and the fact that they once again had the balls to sell it for $70.
$70. That's wow. Oh, OverWatch 2. Completely forgot.
No, we don't talk about that.
I don't blame you. Oh,
all right.
So, and here's another thing I realized about Overwatch 2. Shifting the focus from gameplay to monetization. So, you remember, so the developers may prioritize designing content that drives microtransactions like flashy cosmetic executive events, right? Over fixing bugs or balancing heroes or improving overall gameplay experience that we deserve, and create a perception that profit comes before player enjoyment, which damage trust in the game and the developers. Yep.
I have a good point to make about this, and this goes back to the fact that it was bought by Activision. So, and this problem is a big problem in all Activision games, including Call of Duties now.
Right.
And a lot of people have left Black Ops 6 for the same reason, and I'm sure you've felt this too. So in Overwatch, and I feel like this was not always the case, if you win 2 games, your third game is going to be an instant loss. And not just a loss, a steamroll. Okay? So, and this is the biggest problem for me with Overwatch, because you and me used to grind the fuck out of it. We got really good. Our peak is what? Your peak is master. My peak is really high diamond, almost master. Right? So we were pretty okay, we're pretty decent at the game. But now, every time we play, we have an instant steamroll where we dominate the opponents. They put up no fight whatsoever. And then it's like a coin toss. The next game, we get steamrolled and our teammates give up, they leave, it's just a loss and there's nothing you can do about it.
Absolutely. Because,
and in my opinion, this is all by design, because their player numbers have been dwindling, the player count has been dropping, and they do this, I wonder why, and they do this in order to keep the main player base engaged with the game. Because if we quickly grinded back up to our ranks, guess what? We'd probably not play that much anymore.
Right.
So it's all by design. It's all a way of manipulation to keep you playing the game, putting in the hours, and coming back. But you see, you can go ahead.
No, I honestly agree with everything you said, because the one thing I like to call that is one of the few things: the lack of transparency. Like, one of the
Yep.
most common complaints is the lack of clarity of how the ranks are calculated, and players often don't understand how their performance impact their rank changes, like leaving them confused about why they're losing or gaining rank points. And in Overwatch 2, for example, players are often prominent or dominant after several matches, and which no clear indication of what like metrics are being evaluated. Team performance or individual performance are a hidden algorithm, basically.
Yep.
And another thing I do want to point out that you just mentioned, well, two things. First one is the matchmaking issues, like often paired with players who widely with different skill level in a ranking system, like creating uneven matches. Like, for example, like gold rank players may be matched against people who are bronze or diamond players.
Yep. Yep. Actually, I want to make a quick point.
Go ahead.
So they've changed how the ranking system works. They've changed the matchmaking. They've changed all that stuff. Back in the day, it worked very differently. Now you can even play with anybody regardless of their rank, from bronze all the way to, I believe, diamond.
Right.
How does that make sense?
It doesn't make sense. It really
You
doesn't.
can play with any skill level, and you're gonna get rolled, or you're gonna roll the other team.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's not fun. I understand the player count has dropped incredibly since Overwatch 1, so they maybe did this to keep the matchmaking times low. But at least in ranked play, that's completely game breaking. If you have, and especially now that it's a 5v5 instead of a 6v6, if you have a tank they could be silver or gold, and you're playing, you're a diamond DPS, guess what? Because your one tank is bad, your whole team lost. The tank is, like the pillar of the team. It's the front line. It's everybody rallies around the tank. And especially now, you only have one tank per team. I mean, what are you gonna do? You're gonna lose. Go next. That's it. That's the only thing you can do.
Right. That's all you can do, because you're out of ideas of how to turn the game around. Especially you rely on your own team, and it's just mind blowing.
That's right.
We already covered the basis of why it's becoming dull for us to face when it comes to unfair match setups, especially with a group of teams that could be incompetent and not refusing to work as a team. But the most what I have problems with, which is also kind of really unfair, and Blizzard, the team developers of Overwatch 2, has failed to address, is leavers and cheaters.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, I couldn't tell you how many times you run into leavers or people who just AFK or just rage quit.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I feel like most competitive games have this problem. Counter-Strike is pretty rare, but Rivals, it happens a lot. Overwatch, it happens a lot.
Yes. Yeah, Overwatch has happened a lot, and I will admit, Marvel's Rivals has the similar problems, but it's not the player's fault. It's the game, because even Moist Critical Charlie, he even tried the game Marvel's Rivals himself. He loved the game. He's like out there. He has the same problem that I have been experiencing for the past month, ever since the game was released, is the crashes. Every time we're in the middle of the match, the game keeps crashing, and I'm pretty sure that the development team of Marvel Rivals is aware of this, but they haven't fixed it as of today.
Yeah, I mean, I have not experienced many crashes as you, but I have seen that happen. It's happened to me a few times, and I've seen it happen to randoms, in the game. It's pretty common.
Ever since Marvel Rivals was released, I have not once ever touched Overwatch 2 ever since it was released.
Yeah, I've only gone back to it maybe once or twice, and I don't know. I mean, it's crazy to say when Overwatch has a bigger hero roster. You know what I mean? And they have probably more maps, but for some reason it just doesn't play as good. You know. And I'm not trying to be a Marvel Rivals glazer, because I'm not even that much into team-based shooters anymore, like I used to be. But I gotta admit, you know, the gameplay itself is way more enjoyable. Marvel Rivals.
Yeah, oh,
And
absolutely.
actually, real quick, I'm gonna add one more thing to add. So in Marvel Rivals, and this is really really smart. So when you have certain combinations of heroes together in a team, it unlocks new abilities that they wouldn't have access to otherwise. That I think is really really genius because it adds a new element, a new gameplay feature, and it kind of changes it up, shakes it up. In Overwatch, we were supposed to get different abilities for the same heroes, you know, but that never happened. They scrapped that idea. But Rivals, hey, guess what? You're playing Venom and Spider-Man. Guess what? You get a power up. You unlock a new ability that you wouldn't have otherwise. I think that's really really smart.
That is very smart, and also I'm glad you brought that up because you're not just combining abilities or ults. You basically are intertwined with different characters. Like, for example, when you need a player to play a tank, Hulk, for example, right? You need two characters to gain his gamma ability. You need Doctor Strange and Iron Man. See, the thing is with Iron Man, it has more benefits than Doctor Strange because he charges up his suit with the gamma ability, which increases both power and damage. That's insanely OP, and that's the type of example that Overwatch is supposed to do, especially get different types of abilities once you progress through the game, even in story mode. But they just throw all that out the window, and then they just decide, screw you guys, we'll make the game that we wanted to make.
Yep.
What? Like, okay,
And
okay.
they took everything the fans wanted and said, "Oh, that's nice, that's cute," and then they just completely disregarded it. And they're like, "Yep, the only things you're getting is 5v5 and a battle pass system. That's it,
And the
and
battle,
more cosmetics too
and the battle
that
pass,
are expensive."
the battle pass doesn't deliver any interesting cosmetics. All they do is give like the worst skins and give the worst emotes as possible. Marvel's Rivals, on the other hand, they have better like unique variety of skins for specific characters, and they give you a animation profile banner that is so unique. I have the one with the cyberpunk like Mantis animation skin. I wanted to get the one for Venom. I wanted to get the one for the Midnight Moon Wolverine. It looks crazy. He looks like an old man Logan Van Helsing. That's also great. See, but Overwatch, no. All they do is collab with different animes, like they did with One Punch Man and also My Hero Academia. Like, okay, some of the skins from those different anime collaborations were good. Like for One Punch Man, from Doomfist, he dressed up as Saitama. Okay, I get that. And they have one of those heroes where you dress up as Terrible Tornado. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see any way for Overwatch to come back in its current form. Um, as we already said many times, you know, everything the fans wanted and expected and were looking forward to, they decided to scrap. They decided not to do it. So in its current form, you know, what is there? There's nothing new. There's nothing exciting. It's just basic all Overwatch. And again, with the other problems as the matchmaking, which we already spoke about, and the monetization, you know, sure, they've released new skins. Some of them are extremely rare, but really they're just extremely expensive for one skin because you can change slightly some customization options. I don't know, man. I feel like there's really nothing for me on that game. If at the very least the matchmaking was good and I felt like the matches were fair, then hey, you know what? Maybe I'd be down to give it another try. But I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Neither do I. And they had all the opportunity to take all the necessary criticism and positive new ideas for the Overwatch community. They had all that, but then they decided to ignore everything from Reddit, from all the comments and tweets from X. You know, it like this is why I have a problem with developers and people who refuse to take any consideration. You know, and that's what's wrong with the gaming industries now and the AAA games. And they don't just do it for the community itself. They just do it for the money, and
For the
also
profit.
for
Absolutely.
for profit. And okay, there's nothing wrong with getting a profit of the things that you do for like things that you love to do. All right, but it's about connecting to people what they really need, you know, what they want. All right, like people ask for PVE, they throw out the window. People ask for more variety of characters sooner than later. They decide to take their time. People want
I mean, how many years was it from the release of Overwatch 1 to the release of Overwatch 2? You know what I mean? They had so much time to develop some new characters, develop a new game mode, develop a new everything. We got like 3 heroes. And we did get a new game mode, which is like pretty much kind of like capture the flag a little or whatever, but I don't know. It still feels the same. You know, it's just slightly different mechanics, but it's basically the same.
Yeah, it's basically the same. It nothing changes, and it's very alluring because you know you waited this long to have a new featured style or a new direction of your favorite franchise, right? And you know, Overwatch has always been the top of the type of hero shooters that used to be. Now it just went from up to all the way down here from there, and then people start wondering what happened. Like you know, and like people like don't get me wrong, I still like Overwatch, but the thing is, it's hard to play. It's hard to enjoy it when it's hard to
Right,
enjoy.
like
Yeah,
like at the minimum, you hop into a game. I could boot in right now, load up a game, and it's gonna be the same thing. I'm in a low rank. I'm gonna get a team doesn't work together. And I'm either gonna steamroll the enemy team, or I'm gonna get steamrolled. Like, where is that fun? I don't feel there's a challenge or competitiveness. I feel like the games are predetermined before you even start. Literally, you hop into a game, and you know this might be a little crazy to say, but I feel like within the first minute or so, you already know like this is gonna be a good game. We're gonna win, or we're gonna lose horribly.
right.
You know, and that really just kills the enjoyment for me because it's like, well, why am I even playing? I'm just flipping a coin, and waiting to see what happens.
Right, especially let's not forget that they had this type of dumb mechanic when you're forced to beg your own team to endorse you or to use voice chat. That
Yeah.
that is probably the dumbest thing I ever have to experience. When they when they did a reset of our ranks, like somehow you managed to be able to talk to your team, but I couldn't because somehow my endorsement was at 3, and then to 4, and then whenever it says they reset it, it went down to freaking 1.
Yeah, I remember you stopped playing for a long time. When you came back, your endorsement level was low,
Yeah,
and then you couldn't even talk in game or in chat. I'm pretty sure.
right. And I was very confused. I was like, how did that happen? But then apparently I did some research. They talking about that for the people who is very toxicity. The system automatically resets your endorsement, which no one ever knew until they had to look it up and found out. And I was like, are they allowed to do this without proper warning? Because I'm never always that aggressive and toxic to anybody unless they did something stupid like throw the game or start trolling.
Oh, dude, we haven't even touched on that, but it's crazy how people can throw and purposefully lose the game or waste their ult or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Just throw the match they never get punished. You know what I'm saying? But if you dare to say a slight curse or a slight, anything, a slur or anything like that, or anything disparaging, you're getting muted, you're getting banned, you're losing your endorsement level. You know what I'm saying? So that's just another thing that's really, really broken.
You can't keep getting away with it!
I can't agree more, especially communication, right? Communication in this game sucks. And I'm not just saying toxicity wise, I'm talking about trying to work as a team to win games, especially when you ask someone to switch, they refuse to switch. You ask someone to heal, they don't heal. But here's the one thing that pissed me off the most, right? You play a role, and let's say you're the DPS, I'm the tank, and we have 2 healers. You notice them playing differently than what they're supposed to play. They play DPS instead of taking care of their team, like make sure keeping them alive. And when you notice that, you start to give them a friendly advice, telling them, like for example, me. Every time I see a Mercy player, I tell them this: look, don't forget to damage boost as well as you healing. All right, I got you. And then there are 2 types of players. They either accept the criticism, or they're supposed to talk mad shit and tell them, I know how to play.
And then just because you dared tell them something, they're not going to heal you for the rest of the match.
Yes!
They're just going to completely troll you, essentially. And then at the end of the game, you're like, you have a lot of deaths, and they're just going to be like, oh, wow, you're trash, bro.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
It's like, gee, I wonder why. It's almost like my healers are not healing me on purpose.
Right. and it's not even talking shit. It's more like asking, like telling them, explaining to them, don't forget to do this. It's like you're not like you're coaching them, even though
mind you, mind you, I was gonna say, you and me, we always switch. How often do I get to play my favorite characters? Like I love playing DPS. I love playing Reaper, 76. I love playing DPS. I always have to play.
Junkrat main.
Yep, and you're one of the best Junkrats I know. Like no joke. I always have to play tank because we always end up needing a tank because people refuse to play tank, and then or healer. And I hate healer. That's the most boring role in existence, in my opinion.
I hate healer too.
I have to fill all the time, and I do it.
Yep. And excuse me. When it comes to healers, the only best healers that I could enjoy most out of them is Mercy, Anna, or Moira, and there are not that many healers out right now, but there are a few that are still good, which I could barely neglect to even try out for myself or play them as much. But the point is, when you try to explain something to people, you try to be friendly and communicate them, they don't want to hear from you, especially when you try to explain to them the reasons for dying and the reasons for healing. They either 2 things: they either leave the voice chat, they mute you, or they just continue to keep talking shit for no reason, and they refuse to listen to any reason for us to make a combat or win. And that's one of the reasons why I was done playing Overwatch, because we just experienced so many losses with the same bullcrap. It's just enough is enough.
Right, like I said, it's pretty much a coin flip. There's either you're gonna win and dominate, or you're gonna get dominated, and that's just really not fun.
It's not fun.
I feel like back in the day, I guess Overwatch 1 days, I mean, we would have really tight matches, close matches. People would switch the entire time, counter picking each other, trying to combine ults, all these things, and I just really don't see that anymore. And I understand people probably get fatigued and just don't care that much anymore. Fair enough, but yeah, I don't know, man. I think Overwatch is done for unless they do something radical and completely change up the game, because in its current state, like I'm not playing it ever again.
Right, I couldn't agree more. I'm just done with it because it's really insane, unfair, and it's not really healthy mentally, because like, especially like, for example, let's say we fire a good team, right? And then even though we fire a good team, eventually we go be we like, okay, maybe we start over. If we find a good team, and then we start grouping up and we win a couple of matches, right? Eventually we're gonna start be on the losing streak, and then they're gonna start blaming us for their losses, and that's something that we don't need, you know. And I'll be like,
oh, but I made it to diamond, and you need to try harder.
like, it's the same crap. Like, I don't care if you made it to grandmaster or any bull crap. Like
Hold on. 4 golds, buddy.
God damn it.
You can't tell me nothing because I got 5 golds, buddy.
Oh, I have more heal, I have most gold. Yeah.
I'm like, shut the up. Like, that's one of the type of toxic community that I want to avoid, bro. Like,
Where it's like yo, we have like 3 or 4 DPS like in somebody's switch. I have golds. I'm not switching.
I'm not switching either. Like, they don't even have to say anything. They just like ignore you and then leave the voice chat.
And real quick, anybody's played Overwatch? Genji players, the worst. Never switch ever. Who else?
Lucio.
Hanzo. Oh my! I'm so glad you said that. I was just thinking about that. Lucio players are the worst players in all of Overwatch, bro. Because all they're doing the whole time, parkouring around the map.
Yes.
Speed boosting around the map.
Yes.
Nowhere to be seen. Just trying to boot people off the map, or just it's like, what are you doing, bro?
Just so you know, I used to be a Lucio main, and I'm like a master Lucio ball. So
Yep.
So for people who play Lucio in Overwatch, who does what my friend just explained, you're basically just ruining the game for everybody. You're not healing. All you do is just rolling around.
Thank you.
So
Honestly,
any
that
one
should
of
be-
you out there who's playing Lucio for that bullcrap reason, you're an insult to any Lucio mains like myself.
Amen.
And Mercy mains.
But, yo,
Like-
how are people bad at Mercy, bro? There's literally like, either
She's
right
the
click or
easiest
left click.
support in the whole game. She's the easiest support. Like, okay. Let me bring out the past. Me and Emojis, we were playing a match in the moon, right? I forgot the name of the moon map, but so we were in a tough situation in the game. While he plays as a tank Reinhardt, I was playing as like Mercy, and we were going against a team who has a decent Mercy as I am, and his dumb response is that, oh, it's so hard to aim and kill Mercy as Soldier 76. So when I heard that, I'm like, wait a minute, did I just hear you right? You just said it's hard to kill Mercy as Soldier? So the moment he said that, I knew we lost. Never have I ever seen a Soldier player have a hard time killing Mercy, especially with his ult.
That. He was like, "Oh, what do you want me to do about it?" She like, it's like, are you like, I don't know, bro.
We lost either way, and he died to freaking Mercy with her blaster instead of using his healing field. It was a 1v1 and we lost. And you were close. You were about to charge up to that point, and then we still lost.
I'll never forget that, bro. Just the audacity to have Soldier, and we're like, "Yo, can you kill the Mercy?" He's like, "What do you want me to do about it?" It's like, are you like, bro? If he was playing Reaper and she's flying around, I get it. And that would make no sense.
See, Reaper is understandable, but a Soldier?
With his visor.
He didn't even use his visor. He almost had his visor. Oh my god. I'm sorry, I just lost brain cells from remember that traumatic experience because this is a clear example why I was kind of done with Overwatch, especially players like that. It's just traumatic. Also, if you can't play soldier or can't even aim for crap, don't play soldier. If you can't even heal or damage boost as mercy, don't play mercy. If you can't shield for a tank, don't play tank.
Word.
Play.
Honestly though, if you can't even shield, like Reinhardt, all you have to do is literally stand there and hold right click and press E every now and then. You shouldn't be playing Overwatch, bro. Like it does not get easier. It does not get easier than that. It genuinely doesn't.
Like playing Junker Queen is not a shield tank. Playing Roadhog is not a shield tank. Yes, I get it. When we have a bad healers, I tend to play Roadhog to do self heals.
Yep, yeah, that's a good point.
It is a good point, right? And okay.
But if they have Ana, then don't play fucking Roadhog, bro, because you can't even self heal. But it's like, I don't know. I don't understand how at our rank people don't understand these basic ass like things. You know what I mean?
No. And especially when there's a new hero that's released, right? People just play them automatically instead of testing them on the practice range or quick play.
Even quick play, like come on.
Oh my god. Like, and this is something, the topic that I've been wanting to share to my audience, and you know, because it's something that I really need to get off my chest because that is just insane, really, really insane. Honestly, this is probably the only thing I wanted to cover up for our first video for this channel, about the downfall of Overwatch 2 and why players need to stop playing Overwatch 2. Look, if you want to play Overwatch 2, that's fine. I don't listen to me. Like, do you do? For all you guys can tell, I could probably be back playing Overwatch 2 tomorrow, and me and him will probably play together for all we know. But would that change for what we said about it? No, because it's going to die out soon because of the direction it's going.
Yep, the direction it's been going for a few years now, honestly.
Right.
And again, if at least one of the factors we talked about was redeeming, that would make a difference. If the gameplay was really good, that would make a difference. If the matchmaking was fair, that would make a difference. You know, even if they didn't add new things, they didn't add all the things we were promised before. If at least the matches were fair, and they felt like there was actually a chance to win and not just a 50-50 coin flip, it would be acceptable. But unfortunately, with everything that we've said, it's just not worth playing.
It's not. It's really not worth playing. And especially
at least at the minimum, it's not worth playing ranked.
No. Really
I don't really enjoy quick play. I enjoy playing to win. I enjoy playing competitively. So ranked, it's just not worth it, in my opinion.
It's really not worth it. And you know, for me, I'm the type of serious gamer who likes to play competitive. I like to play to win, but I also want to play to have fun, but also not to rage and this close up punching my monitor. You know, because I have to deal with competent players, or I have to bitch smack like a player for not for trolling us when we try to communicate. And yeah, you know. And looking back, I honestly started to grow out of it and try something new. See, when every time I have a bad game, I like to play like AAA games like Ninja Gaming or Metal Gear or some other game, like story games, especially from PlayStation, like Spider-Man. It keeps me on the right mood and forget about my experiences. Even League of Legends. League of Legends is probably the most iconic multiplayer game that Riot has ever made that I've been playing for many years now. And we'll get into that on our future videos on why League of Legends is such one of the most iconic game and enjoyable to play regardless of the toxicity that game has. Okay. So honestly, this actually could conclude our first video, and I wanted to thank you guys for not only you guys have been following me from my old YouTube channel, and I wanted to thank you guys for checking out on my TikTok, my Instagram, and everything, but also share you some love with Emojis over here, because he has been part of this community ever since we started YouTube since 2011. That was during the time when PewDiePie, Felix, and Smosh with Anthony and Ian became popular. We started that from like since 2011, but the only issue is that it wasn't really going nowhere. But with your guys' support, it will actually help us to achieve something that we've been wanting to do for a very long time. So show us both our support, and we'll keep making videos daily, and that's our goal. We're trying to make our videos daily, even our podcast. And another thing I want to bring up, on our podcast, we will be inviting guests over to start having conversations of different topics, especially the topic revolves in the work. So keep that in mind, guys. Is there anything you want like to add?
Pretty much covered it. I just want to say, leave your comments, leave your suggestions, give us your feedback, tell us what topics we should cover. If anybody would like to join, has something to say, has something they want to talk about, something they're passionate about, let us know. We'd love to have some more guests on here. We're just getting started, and we're just going to get better from here.
Yes, absolutely. Your comments and your likes will not only benefit us, but your suggestions of what topic we should talk daily will be important. Because remember, guys, without you guys, any topic could also help us how we get off our chest as something they would like to address, something that it could also support not only ourselves but also other indie creators out there. It could be video game creators or comic book creators. That's something that it was actually my job for my old channel, but this channel will actually be the most benefactor for all creators, and regardless to be a bigger YouTuber or a small YouTube business. And I'm also going to be creating short daily videos of comic book and video game reviews. Alright, so keep that in mind. Alright, so stay cool, dudes. Have a wonderful day.
See ya.
Pull me close and you say you'll never run.